1 year ago tomorrow, our region felt the effects of Hurricane Helene with widespread flooding and devastation as streams rose over their banks and homes and businesses were destroyed and lives were lost.
Now, 1 year later, our region continuing to feel the effects of Helene, but we have also come together and shown our resilience in the face of overwhelming destruction as rebuilding is well underway and people all across our region are coming together to help their neighbors affected by floodwaters. This morning, we want to welcome Leslie Dalton with United Way of East Tennessee Highlands for a look at the continuing work and how we're going to mark this 1 year anniversary. Leslie, thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
I think it's true, as you continue to see the video, it's still really hard to grasp. I think we all had that feeling of almost disbelief when it first happened.
Yeah, I mean, I think nobody expected this, right? We've never dealt with anything like this in our community, and so it's very emotional this week. There's a lot of stress and emotions are high, so everybody's feeling it for sure.
And coming up tomorrow, several events across the region marking the 1 year anniversary. Talk to us about those.
Yeah, so all of our communities are doing something tomorrow. The goal was that nobody who was affected, whether it was somebody who had their house flooded or was a rescuer, nobody is alone tomorrow. So we want some place for people to go, be with people, share with community, and we also have Frontier Health there if anybody needs that mental health piece or just wants to connect with them later. But we wanted to make sure that nobody's alone tomorrow.
And doing that in so many different ways. Each community, I think, was affected a little bit differently, all kind of feeling that sense of loss. But so each one kind of doing something different. I know there's one over there at Taylor's Bridge that bringing people together for a dinner and that moment to reflect.
Yeah, the one in Washington County, I mean, they're all going to be really special, and that one in particular, you know, that bridge, it was devastating, and there's a lot of volunteers and pictures of people helping in that area. So it's really meaningful to that community to be able to come together and share a meal together.
Have you ever seen a mobilization of efforts like that happened over the past year?
No, I mean, that is amazing. Just the numbers that we logged were over 5,000 volunteers, and I know there was many, many more, and 30,000 volunteer hours. There's many people that came out to help, and I think that's the one silver lining that we can see in this is how our community came together to help each other.
And of course, with your United Way of the East Tennessee Highlands, we had this collaboration in place before. So to be able to have all of this from one spot in one location, I know when I went to your website, it was nice to be able to see everything the different communities were doing, and I know that was so important when it came to mobilizing these volunteers.
Yeah, I think the regional piece of it was so important. I mean, we had help from all over the region to help mobilize the volunteers, and we had volunteers come from all over the place to help our communities.
Yeah. And I know this may be putting you on the spot a little bit, but what do you remember most personally as part of the United Way during this past year?
Yeah, I think what I remember is just the things that we did on a day-to-day basis before this happened, how those came into play in this emergency. Mobilizing volunteers, receiving donations, and getting those donations out quickly to those helping in such a disastrous time. And so just those day-to-day things, we were able to mobilize quickly and do it on a much larger, much regional scale with a lot of help from volunteers.
Yeah, I remember Bristol Motor Speedway, of course, it wasn't long after that we realized that all these distribution centers were happening everywhere. So to have that in one place and how quickly that just turned into an incredible operation.
That was crucial. We couldn't get to a lot of these places. The supplies couldn't get there. And so having that one place where supplies could go and then being able to get trucks and four-wheelers and smaller vehicles out to be able to distribute those supplies was crucial.
Several groups, I mean, including here at WJHL, pitched in. And you saw church groups, you saw civic groups, you saw business groups coming together all over our region. And you know, you had that big distribution there at Bristol Motor Speedway, but also several smaller community efforts as well.
Oh yeah, people were in the communities helping. I think that was just key to have that big distribution center where we could receive large donations, but then getting them out so quickly to our smaller communities, where those communities were there volunteering, helping, and getting them out to the people that needed them.
And one of the things you continued to say is people were, at the very beginning, they were so wanting to help, and you kept saying, you know what, there's time.
Yes.
Because this is going to be a marathon. This is going to be ongoing efforts. And you continued to see that help and support through the year. I think people really understood that it's been 6 months, it's been 8 months. There's still plenty of work to do.
Yeah, we're so thankful for this year to see the amount of people that have come out to help and the donations that have come in, but there's still a lot to do.
Yeah.
We've got so many cases right now with our long-term recovery groups, and I know Johnson County in particular got 8 new ones yesterday. So there's still a lot of work to be done. There's still a lot of people that need help, and there's still opportunities for our community to come together to do that.
And you're kicking off a new campaign called United We Rock. Tell us about that.
Yeah, so our annual campaign kicks off. You know, the emergency relief funds are that short-term stability for our community to come together and help in a disaster, but our campaign is a long-term stability for us and our nonprofits to be there when something like this happens, and for those day-to-day emergencies of our families in the community. So one of the things we're doing is building rocking chairs. You know, a lot of our families, I shouldn't say a lot, we've got a lot that aren't in new homes, but some of our families are in new homes now, and sometimes we forget about those things of comfort. And that makes a house a home, right? And so we want to make sure that we're hoping that each family eventually, it's going to take a while, like you said, it takes time to do things, but we want to make sure that families receive those comfort items like a rocking chair.
Yeah, that's therapeutic.
Yes.
You know, just sitting on that porch with that rocking chair.
Absolutely.
It's very important.
Leslie, thanks for taking some time with us today.
Thank you all.
And United We Rock is ongoing. The work, the disaster relief is ongoing. United Way of East Tennessee Highlands at the forefront of that. Donate or volunteer your time. If you want to learn more, we've got a website right there on the screen.